Hello, my name is Richard. This is my first time trying this. I'm going to go ahead and try to make a YouTube video, and what I'd like to show everybody today is I ran into a problem recently. I had one of these nice, haha, Black & Decker Firestorm drills that I got in 2004 or 2005 at a Black Friday sale at Home Depot or Lowe's, and I paid $30 for two of these drills. Well, as of recently, the batteries have stopped working entirely. These are 18-volt battery packs. Black & Decker model HPB18 power pack. I don't know if you can see that there, but so what I want to show you today is how to how to replace the insides of this battery and save some money over buying a new pack. Now, the cheapest price I could find online for a replacement battery for this was about $30 from Amazon.com, which, you know, relative to a lot of other batteries, probably isn't really a bad deal, but it was more than I wanted to spend for a drill I only paid $30 for. Somehow it just seemed wrong to spend more. So before I go any further, I'll say there's one other thing you might want to consider. And the other day I was at Walmart and I noticed they were selling those battery packs for $35 each. But sitting on the shelf next to it was this drill here, which is basically the exact same drill, uses the same exact battery pack. It was in a pack with the second battery, and that whole set cost $50. So for $50 you could buy another drill with two batteries and a canvas carrying bag and a overnight charger. So that might be something you want to consider before you go to the trouble of rebuilding a battery pack, because essentially you could buy that, throw away the drill, and have two battery packs for $25 each. So just putting that out there, that might be something you're aware of. I don't know if that's a normal price at Walmart. It certainly wasn't set up like it was a sale. But again, so anyways, if you want to go this other route, I went to Harbor Freight Tools and I bought two of these battery packs here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's Harbor Freight Chicago Electric Power Tools, item number 68860, and I paid $15 each. Now, they do have another kind which is highly rated in the reviews that only cost $12 each. But when I picked them up and held them side by side, they were the other ones were lighter weight, and they did not state their capacity. And these are stated as 1,500 milliamp hours. So I figured this was a better bet. So. All right, so I will go ahead and get started here. So to take apart the Black & Decker battery pack, you need a Torx T10 screwdriver, and it comes apart pretty easily. Let me just zip this apart real quick. And as you see, here's the battery pack. It will should come right out. There we go. So here's the battery pack. This is very interesting because the last one of these I took apart, the cells were shorter, and it had about a 1/4-inch spacer platform underneath the batteries, which I discarded So when you take yours apart, you might find that it looks like this and has cells that go all the way to the bottom, or you might find that it has full-size cells like this one. So that's interesting, because I think I bought both drills at the same time, and it's interesting that one of them would have a better battery than the other. So I have to assume that when they have the bigger cells, they have a higher capacity. In fact, for comparison or contrast, right here next to the other one was the battery pack that I took out of the last pack I rebuilt. So as you see, it's about a 1/4 inch difference, and there was a spacer plate underneath. So my guess is that the cheaper battery pack that Harbor Freight sells for $13, or was currently selling for $13, used a smaller battery. So it might be worth it to spend the extra couple bucks and get the higher capacity. Alright, now there were a couple things I needed to do to get this ready. Alright, so one of the first things I'm going to do, see there's a white wire right here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this white wire off flush with the top of the battery pack. And the other thing I'm going to do is cut this off from this front battery. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I lifted this up. There's a there you go. So I'm setting this out of the way. So that's the old pack. We can set that out of the way. By the way, these are NiCad batteries, and it's very important that you turn these in to be recycled. I believe they accept them at Best Buy stores, and I'm sure many other places around town, but I know I've definitely seen a collection box outside of Best Buy. So that's where these are going. Alright, so what you should be left with is the terminal strip, which I'm going to, it's important to leave a little bit of this wire on here because I need it to solder to. Likewise, this tab here, I'm going to solder onto this tab, so it's important that I have this, so don't cut those things off entirely. Alright, now it's time for me to open the new battery. Here we go. Here's the new battery. So this battery comes apart a little bit easier. It only has 4 screws. I'm using a number 1 Phillips. Here's the other one. I'm reaching here. I'm going to take this screw and this piece out just so it can't short against anything. Okay, now inside of here you'll see the wires are attached to something that has a screw in the middle, so I'm going to go ahead and take that screw out so the terminal strip comes out. This battery has a very similar configuration to the other one. Luckily the cells are in the exact same pattern except where the wires are attached. So there we're going to have to go ahead and move things around a little bit before we can put this pack in the new casing. Also, I'll note that this battery has an extra wire coming out of it, this extra black wire here, and that's because some drills, especially ones that are designed to use rapid 1-hour chargers, actually have a temperature sensor attached to the pack of batteries, and that's how they know when to stop charging. So those chargers will charge the battery pack rapidly, and as soon as that sensor senses that the batteries are starting to get warm, it knows that it's charged, and it'll send a signal back up to the connector and the handle, which is tied to the charger. It's the charger that uses this extra terminal and not the drill, and that'll tell the charger to stop charging so it doesn't overheat the battery or overcharge and damage the battery. So we will not need that, so we'll be cutting this extra little wire off. In fact, I'll even pull out and discard the sensor for this application. I pulled out this temperature sensor that was taped underneath of here, and it was held on by a little metal tab. So when I pulled it out, I also snipped that loose. So I went ahead and pulled out this temperature sensor and throwing it in my parts box for some project in the future. Another thing that I did was peel off this paper from the underside of the battery pack and moved it to the top side, and then I drew a couple lines across here and here. I don't know if you can see that or not, and that's going to mark for me where this terminal strip needs to set. It needs to be centered between those lines, and that's where we'll reconnect it. So this metal tab here, I'm going to actually bend it underneath so it exits out the rear. So then what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this red wire and bring it around. We got to try to channel everything to the middle, because anything that's going to be on the outside is going to make it hard for the case to close because there's not clearance for it. So I'm going to fold this tab around, and I'm going to connect the red wire. I'm going to solder it onto this white wire. And I'm going to take this black wire, and that's going to get soldered onto this tab. I'm going to go ahead and cut off these remaining wires from the Harbor Freight terminal strip. Now, keep in mind that this Harbor Freight battery likely has some charge in it now, so you don't want anything shorting across any of these metal tabs on the bottom, so don't let them come in contact with anything metal. Likewise, we don't want the ends of these wires to come in contact with each other. First, I'm going to focus on the red wire. So, let's see here. Hopefully you can see that better. I'm going to go ahead and straighten this and actually fold it so it's back towards the middle. And then ultimately it's going to be directed over here where I'm going to solder the white wire to the red wire. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready. There it goes. I got this little thing here to kind of assist me in holding so I'm going to go ahead and take some electronic solder. I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the tip of my gun here, or my soldering iron, and put it against this wire so it makes good thermal contact. And you see here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm tinning the end of this wire here, so that whole wire is got solder going through it now. Try to avoid breathing the solder fumes. Probably not the best, healthiest thing for your lungs. Then I'm also going to go ahead and try to get a little bit of solder on this metal plate here. There we go. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set my terminal strip down here between the two lines I drew in there. I'm going to figure out how I need to bend and form this red wire to connect. So I think I pretty well got the shape figured out right here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here. I got to go ahead and strip the insulation off. Good, that worked okay. And I'm going to go ahead and apply some solder to that wire also to make it flow better. Okay. So that wire is tinned. Don't forget to let it cool a little bit before you touch it. It could burn you. Okay. So I think here you can kind of see what I'm trying to do. I'm going to go ahead and get these two together right now. Try to hold this in position with this helping hands, or third hand, or whatever you want to call this rig right here. There we go. I guess you could get somebody to help you, but all right. Okay, I got a pretty good bridge there between the two wires of solder. Okay, and let me bring it up to the camera so you can see what I've got. Not the prettiest joint in the world, but I think it'll work. I'm going to go ahead and cut off some of the extra. And I think we got one in position. So as you see here, that wire is done. Like I say, you want to try to now it's also very important that when this thing's done, these two can't come in contact with each other. That's critical, or your battery pack's going to melt down or catch on fire or whatever it does. So for an added level of safety, it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and wrap this in electrical tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and route this black wire onto this solder spot here. And like the other wire, I'm going to go ahead and tin the wire. This makes it go together easier. Try to put a little bit of solder between the soldering iron tip and the wire, but after you get a little bit in there, it'll help make good thermal contact between the two. Go ahead and then apply the solder directly to the wire and not to the soldering iron tip. Okay, so that was pretty well tinned right now. Alright, so I don't know if you can see how I bent that, but you want to make sure that you don't break these tabs off, because you're going to have a hard time if you do. So next I just need to get that soldered down on there, and I think I will be good. So Again, I think I'll use the little helping hand. A little bit of finesse here to get this in the right spot. Also, I probably should say that when I just did that and lifted up, the piece of solder flew up on me here, landed on my jacket. So I'm wearing glasses. I think it's critical to remember you need to wear safety glasses whenever you're, working with solder or anything else, or any kind of power tools. There we go. Got the whole joint there nice and shiny. So. Okay. There you guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there it is. Make sure it cools a little bit, and make sure these two don't come in contact with each other. That's critical. So as soon as it's cool enough, let me see, it seems like it's cool enough to touch. You can go ahead and make sure that this black thing still fits between the two lines that we drew. See, it's a line between these two cells in the middle, and the wires are routed in the center and they stay away from the edges. That's critical too. So now I think we're pretty much ready to reassemble this thing. Now you might have to push some of this tape out of your way so it clears these posts. When you assemble this. Like you see here in the back, I'm having to push it in to get it to fit. I think we'll just go ahead and snip this tape here at the back. So it'll, and here on the side, there you go. Okay, so we got it sitting in here, and this is sitting right here aligned with the between these two cells. I think we're doing pretty good. Now we need to set the latch mechanism back. Here is a this spring goes around this post here in the middle, and this goes in right here into the top of the spring. And okay. Now when you push this on, notice there's channels on either side of the terminal strip, and they need to engage in a slot in the cover, which is right here and here. That's in order for this cover to fit on correctly. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully this is just going to line right up. And it looks like everything fits. If this thing doesn't sit down all the way, go ahead and lift it off and make sure you don't have any wires pinched underneath of the either edge. And try to reroute them if you do, because you don't want them to cut through later. Now all that's really left to do is put the screws back in. Now I usually put these in and I turn it backwards just till I feel it drop, so I know it's engaged the screw, and as soon as I feel it drop, then I go ahead and turn it forward. So I am reusing the original threaded holes that were there rather than making new ones, so I can avoid this thing stripping out, because I don't know, this might not be the last time this thing gets taken apart. Alright, and there you have it. One rebuilt battery pack. Now it's important to remember The chargers that typically come with these drills, I know they have a fast charger, but the chargers that typically come with these drills require up to 12 hours for a full charge. At least that's the instruction that came with my new drill, said to charge it at least 12 hours before the first use. So I am going to go ahead and put this on the charger for 12 hours and then I'll give it a whirl. But if it's like the last one I did, I'm sure it will work great. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful to you. Also, I might point out that these battery packs all have a date code right here under the latch. I don't know, you probably can't see this one, but it's probably too dark. But this one here, I don't know the whole date code, but it says 2004 37CL. I think that's 2004 week 37. These are 2004 batteries I just rebuilt. And the new batteries, I don't know that yours will have this, but luckily I was fortunate enough to see these ones I got from Harbor Freight did have a shipping label where it came to the store, which I appreciated, so I knew I wasn't buying something that had been sitting on a shelf for years. Said 8/21/2013, and it is now January of 2014, so I know these weren't sitting on the shelf for years. So I think this will work out well. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post that in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer any questions that I can. And good luck. Don't forget to recycle your old battery packs. Thank you for watching.